Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Eh? What's it? Okay, now we'll start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are discussing first canto, second chapter, and can you just go a little behind? So can we just come to 12th verse? Yeah. 12th verse, 1 to 12.
Oh, I just have to go back now.
A little.
There's that long purport there.
Yeah, 1 to 12.
Wait a minute.
Oh, it's a Kindle, huh? Okay. So we're discussing first canto, second chapter and 12th verse.
Yeah, got it now.
Okay. Tat Shraddhadhana Munayo Jnana Vairagya Yuktaya Pashyanti Atmani Chatmanam Bhaktaya Shruta Grahitaya. Okay, so translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Or maybe we can chant word to word meaning. Tat, that. Shraddhadhanaha, seriously inquisitive. Munayaha, sages. Jnana, knowledge. Vairagya, detachment. Yuktaya, well equipped. Pashyanti, see. Atmani, within himself. Cha, and Atmanam, the Paramatma. Bhaktaya, in devotional service. Shruta, the Vedas. Grahitaya, were received. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The seriously inquisitive student or sage, well equipped with knowledge and detachment, realizes that absolute truth by rendering devotional service in terms of what he has heard from Vedanta Shruti. Okay, so purport is a long purport. Okay, I'll just include the points there when I explain. So I'll just start here. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Kshirunlitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Namaham Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisheshinyavadi Vaishnavi. So I'm going to discuss some couple of verses now, 12, 13, 14 and 15. Because that's one of the sections of Srimad Bhagavatam. In this verse, especially purport, Srila Prabhupada is immediately raising the point of three classes of devotees. First class, second class, and third class. Now, what's the difference between first class, second class, and third class devotee? That's mentioned in this verse. So, Sukadeva Goswami says, Tat Shraddhadhana Munayo. The idea is, he starts with the word Shraddha or faith. Now, faith is a basis of categorization of three classes of devotee. First class, second class, and third class. But then you have to define faith. Because anybody can say, I have faith. That's all. Anybody can assume himself that he has faith. So Prabhupada always said that devotion is science. It's a science of self-realization. In fact, the previous verse to this is talking about science. Vadanti tattva vidas, that verse, Vadanti tattva vidas, tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdate. Prabhupada says the three realizations of absolute truth. In fact, In fact, I was reading, I was reading Saint Francis. That's Christian, Franciscan order.
Famous, yeah.
Yeah. And he was talking about 3 levels of realization. I was surprised. So he was writing a letter to one of his disciple, a female disciple, and he was writing that there are 3 levels of realizations, absolute truth. One is everywhere, that is our Brahman understanding. He said, or you can meditate on the super soul on your heart, that is Paramatma, or you can meditate on the God in the kingdom of God who is looking upon you with his merciful eyes, that is Bhagavan. So I think it means that anybody who is sincere in any of his practice, he will advance. God will give him realizations from within. Even the Bible is very abstract on this topic of Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan realizations. Abstract, but he got it. So that's the idea of faith. Now, how do you define faith? According to the level of faith, Krishna reveals that person. In fact, Prabhupada wrote a letter to Bhaktivedanta Swami. I was reading a couple of days ago, 1972, and 22nd June. So he writes, Prabhupada writes, now you have got a big opportunity to preach. Now be sincere, and according to your sincerity, Krishna will reciprocate with you and help you in your preaching mission. And help you in the battlefield of preaching. That's what Prabhupada says. So how do you define faith? That's the idea. Tat Shraddhana Munayo. Now the definition of faith by Chaitanya Charitamrita is Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe Sudrida Nischay Krishna Karm Kaila Sarv Karm Krit Hoy. So Shraddha is Vishwas Kahe Sudrida Nischay. Shraddha is something which cannot be changed. Sudrida Nischay. And Vishwas. Now, Shraddha is conviction in scriptural knowledge. That's how you define faith. Now, you have to bring knowledge in the picture. Otherwise, faith is just a sentiment. That's all. So, and that's why if you go to Madhva Sampradaya, and if you meet Swamijis, in fact, in ISKCON, we know ISKCON history, some of the Prabhupada disciples, when they were initiated, like sannyasis, of course, when we talk of sannyasis, they were like 1-2 years in the movement. They just went to Udupi and they challenged the Swamiji there. It was crazy. Okay, and we are convinced that Krishna is supreme and this and that, and they challenge the Swami. And so Madhva Swamijis, like who are they? They are the people who take sannyas at the age of 8 years. Those people, like by the astrology they see, 8 years they take sannyas, and this Swamiji, he was like 65 years, like 60 years of sannyas, and they challenge him, and they come, okay, we want to prove Krishna is supreme, and this and that, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and this. You know what Swamiji did? He said, okay, bring some laddu. You know laddus? Give them laddu and ashirvadam. How do you discuss with such kind of people? So, in fact, that's what Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami defines as. He uses the word Shastra Nipun, means expert in scriptures. And Prabhupada says in one of the lectures, yes, Prabhupada says gopis simply loved Krishna. Prabhupada says yes, they simply loved Krishna, but their devotion and love was not sentimental. Prabhupada says, if any person challenges, Prabhupada is saying, if any person challenges a first-class devotee, the devotee says, come on, let's have a debate. And he will be able to defeat him. So his love is not sentimental. His love is grounded in the basis of reality and knowledge. That's what they use here. Jnana Vairagya Yuktaya. His love is based on knowledge and renunciation. Wherever there is knowledge, there has to be renunciation automatically. Wherever there is renunciation, knowledge automatically manifests. Because true knowledge will lead you to a discrimination between love and lust. And when you are approaching love and leaving lust, you automatically develop renunciation. And true renunciation will lead to knowledge. Because it's said in Bhagavatam also, Janiyati asho vairagyam jnanam tachat ahitukam. previously to this verse. Both are complementary to each other. So true renunciation leads to knowledge. How? When you're renounced, then what happens is you're not attached to anything. And when you're not attached to anything, you start seeing the reality of it. And that's very common sense. Now, before marriage, these young girls and boys are so infatuated with each other, and they fall in love, and they can see all good qualities in their beloved or whatever. But then after marriage, something different happens. You start losing interest. Oh my God, there's so much imperfection. Now what happens? It's the same person. It's the same person. But the idea is, it's the same person, but when you start becoming familiar, when you start losing interest in that person, because of familiarity, you start seeing imperfections there. And that's the idea there. So attachment blinds you. You can't see the reality. Because of renunciation, you start seeing what is what in this material world. And that's why materialistic people, they cannot see reality all around. There is no enjoyment whatsoever in this material world. But because they're blinded by attachment, they cannot see. But we devotees, we can perfectly understand this is horrible. This is a crazy word. This is a mad word. It's just upside down, isn't it? So that's the idea there. Faith is defined by the level of knowledge and renunciation. So how do you categorize, according to renunciation and knowledge, 3 classes of devotees? What do you do with that? So Prabhupada defines the third class devotee. His knowledge is very, very, he uses the word komal. Komal means his knowledge is very pliable. He can get confused very easily. His knowledge is not so solid. He doesn't understand scriptures. He doesn't understand arguments of scriptures. He has just joined the temple, associating with devotees. What devotee says, he follows. That's all. It's basically sort of a blind faith, like a neophyte. So his knowledge base is not mature, and no conviction. He can't argue. And his renunciation, it's not there because he has no knowledge. He can't understand what is love, what is lust. That is third class devotee. He can be confused, he can fall down. And Prabhupada, Bhaktisanta used to say that until you are third class devotee, you are at big risk. You are at a big risk. You can fall down at any time. Maya can take you on a trip at any time. So he says, we have to come to level of second class devotee, Madhyamadikari. Otherwise we are unsafe in this world. So what is Madhyamadikari? Madhyamadikari, the words used are, he has strong knowledge, he has understanding of knowledge. That's first thing. But not so much that he can go and defeat atheistic people. That he can't do. In himself he understands knowledge, he understands what is love, what is lust, he has power of discrimination, and he has renunciation in his senses. His senses are imbued with renunciation. They're not attracted to, they're not haywire, sort of controlled. That is Madhyamadikari. He's little safe because he can't be confused, he can't really fall down so easily. So the idea is, if you want to go from third class to second class, you need knowledge. Without knowledge, we have no standing at all. And that's why Prabhupada always emphasized, I was reading a letter to GBC, and Prabhupada says the first business of GBC is to train people in knowledge. Prabhupada says the first business is that. And Prabhupada writes a letter, Prabhupada writes a letter to Satsguru Maharaj there in 1972. So when he just got sannyas, and I was reading the letter, and Prabhupada says that he should take so I think he was in charge of Dallas Gurukul at that time. So Prabhupada says you should take care, all the devotees should read Srimad Bhagavatam from different perspectives, give them knowledge so that they can be stable in Krishna consciousness, and then there is no real need of management, because management itself happen. People are really stable. And that's what actually Prabhupada saw in his movement right in 1971 also, and in letters Prabhupada started started commenting that I'm seeing that my devotees are distributing books, but they're not reading my books. Prabhupada saw. Prabhupada in 1976 also, 1975, he's writing this letter to everyone. He's noting in Chaitanya Charitamrita purport that all devotees should read all my books. And in fact, I have a seminar for that. I'll present on Sunday, basically, to all devotees. That's number one problem in our movement. Devotees are not reading Prabhupada books. And we find that we are traveling all around the world. In fact, you know what, this Mayapur, this time, Gaur Purnima, so there was this ILS, ISKCON leader meeting, all these big leaders were there. So they came up with a performer, and it was there. Have you read all Prabhupada books? 99% of leaders, no. No.
Leaders.
Yeah, leaders. big temple presidents and this, no. I have not met even a single devotee, very rare, who have read Chaitanya Charitamrita full. I have not met.
I've read a few times.
You have read full? Okay, good. You are one of the...
I'm a reader though,
Okay, yeah.
Not everybody's readers, that's what people say. They say, oh, I'm not really a person who reads.
Yeah, that's true.
I've read it once, but very long time ago. I like reading Srimad Bhagavatam.
Srila Prabhupada.
Read it again.
Yeah, Srila Prabhupada says, Srila Prabhupada said one of his disciples that you should read Gita 100 times, you should read Bhagavatam 50 times, you should read Chaitanya Charitamrita 7 times, and then you can hope to go back to Godhead. So, okay, if everybody is not a reader, if everybody is not a Brahmanical person, it's a job of Brahmanas to help them go through these books and make them read, make them understand. That's what our society is based for. That's what this society is all about. You can stay alone somewhere on an island. We have to help others. Leaders should help others to go forward. And that's what is Varnashram society all about. Brahmanas read. In fact, Brahmanas are doing the homework of all other three Varnas. That's why it's a big responsibility. They have to read, they have to digest, and they have to present the subject in a way so that every Varna can understand according to his own capability. They have to understand children, so that presentation is different. They have to understand females, presentation is different. They have to understand Kshatriyas, Shudras, but that's their job. If they're not doing their job, Prabhupada says they might go to hell. Prabhupada said that. Prabhupada said in fact, there's a letter. There's a lecture of Prabhupada. In 1975 or 76, yeah. Prabhupada says, these GVCs will be punished if they don't do their responsibility.
Punished, you mean, like in the next life or in the...
Yeah, but Prabhupada says next life they'll become Shudras. Because Prabhupada said, the higher the post, the greater the punishment. Prabhupada says, be careful. And Prabhupada gives example of Yamraj. Yamraj did a small mistake and he had to become Shudra. He became Vidur. You know that, no? He became Vidur. Prabhupada gives that. Prabhupada says, Mahajanas, they get punished. What about our GBCs? So that's the idea there. So second class devotee, sort of okay, knowledge and initiation. But the first class devotee, Rupa Goswami, Krishna Consciousness Swami defines in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he's Shastra Nipun. Shastra Nipun means he's expert in scriptures. Now, expertness means two things. One is he's expert in applying. Madhyamadikari, he doesn't really understand how to apply. He can understand, he can theoretically understand, but exactly how to apply in different situations. The same knowledge can be applied differently in different situations. It's not the same application, isn't it? Different situations and for different persons. So he knows by maturity and wisdom how to apply this knowledge. And expertness means he can argue with anybody and defeat him. And that was Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was very expert in applying knowledge. Prabhupada got brothers, they came to England. Yeah, they came to England and they were not successful. Bhavan Maharaj and all these people. Prabhupada came to West and he was successful because exactly knew how to apply without compromising on one hand and without deviating on the other hand. He could do that. And Prabhupada says in one of his letters, this needs realization and guidance from Krishna, direct guidance. And that means this needs purity. Krishna guides everybody, but a pure person can hear him, an impure person cannot hear him. Krishna's voice is drowned in the voice of our mind, the chaotic voice of our mind. He speaks to everyone. It's not that he doesn't speak, but people can't hear what. That's not his problem. That's your problem. So, a first class devotee, what happens to him? Sukadeva Goswami says, Pashyanti atmani cha atmanam. And Prabhupada says here, in this verse he doesn't translate. Pashyanti, he sees. He starts seeing. Now what he starts seeing? We are seeing already everything. Now what else you see? He starts seeing the reality behind this illusion. He starts perceiving that. He starts perceiving the ideas and not exactly the objects. What is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of this material world? And more than that, he starts seeing within himself, Atmani cha Atmanam. He starts seeing within himself Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's as simple as that. Now we can't see, isn't it? And what's the proof? Close your eyes and see what you can see. You can see darkness, that's all. There's no, let's have a philosophy whether we can see God or not. You don't need philosophy. Close your eyes. It's just darkness, that's all. That's all, nothing more than that. It's just simple darkness. We are all maybe just a neophyte, bunch of neophytes. Or maybe a little bit more. At least I am that. You can't fool yourself. You can see darkness, that's all. Prabhupada says you don't need Krishna Consciousness certificate from anybody. If you are sincere, you can know where you are. If you want to accept that. If you don't want, then even God cannot help. So that's it. But pure devotees, when they close their eyes, they can see Krishna. Prabhupada, Prabhupada disciples, many of them, they say that when Prabhupada closes his eyes, it was as if Krishna was painted on the back of his eyelid. Close and see Krishna. And then open. And there is Krishna. What's that? Bahir Narsimho, Hridaya Narsimho. That's the idea. Pashyanti Atmani cha Atmanam. He can see within himself God, Krishna, and within Krishna he can see himself. And that's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvancho yomai pashyati. Anybody, you can see me everywhere and everything in me.
So what does he see? The Paramatma? This is the Paramatma.
Yeah, Paramatma, Krishna is him.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he can see. He can see Krishna directly in his heart. And because he can see Krishna, he can see himself. Because without sunlight, you can't see anything. So, because of presence of Krishna, he can see Krishna, so he can see himself with Krishna. He can see his own Sarupa also. So he's liberated. He's a liberated person. And this, we have to reach here before we die. And we are going to die. We have to accept it. Today or tomorrow. If we don't reach this platform, we have to come back. It is possible, Prabhupada. Somebody asked Prabhupada, self-realization is so difficult, what to do? Prabhupada said, you can realize Krishna 50 times in this life. 50 times, not just once. Of course, that seems difficult. But Prabhupada says, 50 times. Prabhupada says, what you need is sincerity. And truthfulness. True to yourself. And true to Krishna. That's what you need. That's what you need. It's not necessary to do big things. It is said a great person is known by his small activities, not his big activities. If you want to know he's a great, you observe in small details. Big thing you don't observe. And then that's where you can find whether he's a great man or he's just an ordinary man. Prabhupada always said in his lectures, don't be an ordinary man. Don't be an ordinary man. Be a devotee. Devotee is a great person. Devotee is extraordinary. That's what we have to become. Pashyanti atmani cha atmanam. If we want to see Krishna, we'll be able to see Krishna. That's the only qualification. Prabhupada says there, Tatra lolyam api ekalam molayam. Prabhupada quotes Rupa Goswami. The only qualification to see Krishna in your heart is that you want to see Him. That's all. But that wanting, janma koti sukruti apina labhyate. But that wanting to see Krishna in heart, that takes time. Because we want to see material world. We want to see ourselves. We want to entertain our own desires. That's the problem. That we have to conquer. Slowly and steadily. It's very nice to make temples and castles. But most important thing is you have to make a temple in your heart. And that's what is said. Don't forget to make. So there's a book, Interior Castle. Don't forget to make a temple in your heart. Outside is okay. Outside, inside, it should be both full of enthusiasm. That's what we have to do. But you know what? Life is so busy and so hush and rush in life, Even in this institution also. Institution life is also like that.
Sometimes I think it's too passionate.
Yeah, it's like that.
Sometimes I think, why has it got to be so?
Yeah, we're all running. And in the process, we forget ourselves. We start helping everybody in this world except ourselves. And that's what there's a saying by Confucius. He said, if you want to be firm in devotion, help others to become firm. If you want to become enlightened, help others to become enlightened. Because if you're helping others, actually you're helping yourself. So that's the idea. The idea is to preach and to help others is actually to help yourself. So Prabhupada says preaching is the most important activity. But more important than that is saving yourself first. So is it selfishness to save yourself? No. We save ourselves to save others. Because you cannot help others if you cannot help yourself. You cannot raise anybody more. You cannot raise anybody's consciousness even a millimeter more than what your own level. It can't happen like that. So Pashyanti atmani cha atmanam. Prabhupada says you can see Krishna face to face. That's what here it is. Atmani atmanam. You can see Krishna face to face in this life. If Krishna is satisfied in all respects, Prabhupada says, you have to satisfy him in all respects. That is bhaktaya. The word is bhaktaya. Satisfy him in all respects, in all fields, whatever service you can do, in whatever dimension and whatever area, just try to do your best. Bhaktaya shruta grahiteya. But this service attitude, this enthusiasm to satisfy Krishna, that comes from shruta grahiteya, from shruta, from hearing, from understanding knowledge. Actually, you know what? Whatever we are doing in this temple, eating, sleeping, management, is just for this class. That's all. Which people take lightly, isn't it? At least.
Sorry?
Which people take lightly. Lightly class.
Oh, they take lightly. Yeah. Because everything is to support the chanting.
Yeah.
Who's chanting properly?
Yeah, that's... Prabhupada says, hearing is more important than chanting. Prabhupada says that. And Mahaprabhu says, Mahaprabhu never said, Kirtanam is the highest. He says, Sankirtanam. Param Vijate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. And Sang means Shravanam. Sang means association. Chanting and association. What is all association all about? Association all about transaction of knowledge. It has no meaning, otherwise we are doing a party. That's all. It's not our politics. Either of the two. So, Shruta Grahiteya, that culture we have to bring in ISKCON somehow. If that comes, we can save this institution. That doesn't come, whatever you do, you will not be able to say, it will become more complicated. It will become more complicated. It's a simple solution, but that has to come. Any institution in history, if you analyze all institutions who have gone up, it's primarily due to that culture of good, true knowledge and wisdom. Every institution who have gone down in the history, it's due to lack of knowledge, lack of discussions, and everything else goes on. So that has to be done. But that can be done only when devotees have read, digested, realized, and then can present in a very interesting and understandable way. Otherwise, nobody will hear you, isn't it? Nobody will like to hear you. It's boring, what's happening, we can't understand what's happening. So we have a very big responsibility to actually get these books. Prabhupada said in one of, I was reading, Prabhupada said in one of his lecture, we have just done 1% of our work.
1%.
Yeah, Prabhupada says, I've translated all these books, everything is there in Srimad Bhagavatam, but that's just 1%. Rest 99% is, you have to get this knowledge out and make people understand. That's the 99%. So 99% we have this job, isn't it? Then we have this job. So bhaktaya shruta grahiteya. Now, in the next verse, let's go to 13th verse. Ata pumba duje shreshta varnashrama vibhagasha sonistasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshana. One of the very famous verses, liked by Madhva, liked by Ramanuja, liked by us. And Prabhupada says, to get this knowledge out and make people understand that 99% work, you need a system. Just random lectures will not help. It will not help. And that system is Varnashrama Vibhagasha, Varnashram system. Human society must be divided into 4 castes and 4 orders of life according to his work and qualification. And if we don't bring this system in our society, we will not be able to have transaction of knowledge. It's impossible. We can't do that. Because you need to identify who is a Brahmana, who is a Kshatriya. But you know what, in ISKCON, what happens is, so when I joined the movement, I joined, and then immediately I was given a briefcase and go for life members. And come on, I'm not here to collect money. Forget it. I didn't do. But then my interest was reading and knowledge and helping others to give knowledge. But then these guys, that was a trend that time, like 25 years back, it was like that. Everybody funds. And
I was sent out candles.
Oh, you are okay.
Is it easier?
But you are Brahmanical, as we can see. You're like reading, so. Huh?
In this time of Kali Yuga, is it easy to follow the Vedas, the 4 classes of, like Prabhupada said, we have our Sudras.
Yeah. It is difficult. Prabhupada says it's difficult. He accepts. But Prabhupada says it's not impossible. But it's required because we are Shudras and will become more Shudras if no system is there. And that's what is happening, no? If practically you see, forget the books. Now what's happening in an institution? It's chaos. It's becoming a chaos. Some system, Varnashram system might not be perfection. We might not attain perfection in establishing. But some kind of systemization has to be there. We have to identify devotees who are Brahmanical, give them that kind of service, isn't it? They should be reading and helping others to understand. People who are Kshatriyas, they should be management. But just opposite. People who are Brahmanas, they are on the roads. And people who are Shudras, they are on the post.
The trouble is now, it's the ego is a very bad thing because most Brahmanas who think they are Brahmanas, they have too big ego.
Yeah, so then they were not Brahmanas. They are not Brahmanas. Brahmana is not identified by knowledge. Brahma is identified by qualities. Arjavam, Vinaya, humbleness, simplicity, not just knowledge is a very secondary take. But so then this means they are not Brahmanas. Even Shudra can take a knowledge, but then he'll become proud of it. That's the problem with him. So that's some system, some training system has to be there. Ataha Pumba, that's why Sukadeva Goswami says, Ataha, therefore. Therefore, to get this knowledge out, Pumba Dujay Shreshta. Dujay Shreshta means among twice born, the leaders of the society, who are real leaders, they have to come up Varnashrama Vibhakasha. This system has to be installed. Swanishtasya Dharmasya. Why? Because if everybody follows his own, if everybody works according to his own quality, Swanishtasya Dharmasya, then Dharma will be born. Otherwise, it will lead to adharma. Because Krishna says, if you are not working according to your quality, you will become frustrated. How long you can go? And from frustration is born evil, bad qualities. And then we start. Of course, if your mind is not peaceful, how do you do anything? Then you are not peaceful, everybody is not peaceful, everybody is anxiety. That's a problem. Dharma says, samsiddhir haritoshanam. And from dharma, if everybody is following his own dharma, when everybody is satisfied and happy in his own position, then what happens? They start serving each other. And when they start serving each other to the best of their capacity, samsiddhi haritoshanam. Krishna becomes perfectly satisfied. And when Krishna becomes satisfied, samsiddhi, you attain the highest perfection of life. That's all.
By Varnashram.
Yeah, by Varnashram.
I was just reading Shiva Ram Maharaj's book. He's done his books. Started at number 1. I think he hasn't done number 2 yet. On Varnashram.
Oh, okay.
Did you see those? Do you know?
No. Oh, yeah. I think it's a new release.
Yeah, it's specifically for Hungary. He says it is specifically for Hungary, and he says he's trying to do Varnashram in Hungary, but it would be different in different countries. It would be different.
Probably, yeah.
So, some differences in different countries, but he's just collated everything from Prabhupada's books about Varnashram, about the need for it.
Oh, yeah.
And talking about the qualities of different Varnas, the duties of the different Varnas. That was very interesting.
Yeah, I saw that.
Somebody's trying, I just wonder what you thought of that.
Yeah, I've seen that book, it's nice. And also there is one more book by one Mataji. She's also got on Varnashram, and that book also. And it's good.
What book is that?
It is Prabhupada on Varnashram. Srila Prabhupada on Varnashram. One Mataji has compiled. It's from BBT. So we need these kind of books. We need more books on this and quotations from Srila Prabhupada so that people are inspired to understand all these things.
I think a lot of devotees, they have difficulties because they recognize they're not Brahminical and they don't feel like they fit in, and so they go away and they do something more according to their Varna, but outside of ISKCON. It's like they...
Yeah, I can understand.
That has, they don't want to be,
No, but then it's not
they're not ready for full devotional service, doing the needful in the temple. They'd rather go
out and do
a job.
Then that's
tangible results.
That's not a varna.
No, but it's more according to what they consider their nature.
No, but you know what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. America is a very successful country because they are following Varnashram in a very subtle sense, and even West, I mean to say, people are doing what they like according to their qualities, and they become expert, and then they are not looked down upon, and they can pursue their own qualities, and that's how this civilization is advancing. In India, it's becoming topsy-turvy. So automatically, if that system is not provided in our institution. That's the idea.
No, that's what I'm saying. If somebody comes and they have a propensity to be, a Vaishya, or if they're given like a Vaishya, if that's recognized and they're given some Vaishya role, then it might be much easier for them.
Yeah, that's true. That's what we have to do here.
Yeah, my husband, he says he's a Vaishya, right? And he runs a bookshop for a charity.
Oh, okay.
And he runs it very successfully. He makes a lot of money, but he says, "I wish I could do this for ISKCON."
Yeah. So Prabhupada said we have to provide plans, different kind of services. We have to create services according to Varnashrama, so that people come. Okay, this is for me. Okay, fine. Do this. This for you, do this. But that's not created there.
No.
That creation is not there.
In Ireland we have a project, we try fit people to the project.
Yeah. That's true.
You've got to be a pujari.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Okay.
I have to go a bit early.
Fine.
Some external problems.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah, so that's the problem there. That's what we have to be doing.
Yeah. I just wanted to tell her about Shlina.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's having this very thing, the disease which can take her life.
No, it can't take a life. I've explained him like.
The internet says.
It's internet. Internet
what
is Prabhu.
Called?
Internet.
What is the disease called?
Vasculitis.
Yes.
Come on.
No, it's here.
I'll write to her. Anyway, I'll write to her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's it's an attack on her immune system, and it blocks, it inflates the artery. You can get stroke or heart attack.
Okay.
It's the worst condition, and blockage could cause death.
I'll write to her and see what's.
Sorry.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Fine.
I'll write to her.
She's a light of Belfast.
Okay. Fine.
I know I'm puffed up. Yeah.
No. You're not.
Okay.
He's a little bit crazy. But he does service, so he continues to. He was a Muslim.
Come on.
He's a Muslim.
Oh, that's interesting.
He became a devotee. It's quite interesting story. I mean, just to digress. His two daughters were both. Okay. That was very good. I feel very enlivened by your speaking.
Hare Krishna.
I feel very clear and very helpful.
Prabhupada ki.
I'm starved.
Prabhupada ki jai.